2 News Works for You starts right now.
Both of my daughters are hurting. I'm hurting. We all hurting.
A family in mourning. Tonight we're hearing for the first time from a mother and grandmother who are grieving the loss of 2 young girls. Good evening. I'm Russ McCaskey.
I'm Carol Larson. One day after the children died in a fire at the London Square apartments, their relatives are speaking out.
They're remembering the children. They say they don't fault the girls' aunt, who police arrested today in connection with their deaths. 2 News reporter Dan Perlman's live at the apartment complex with tonight's top story. Dan?
Well, right here, this is Mashea Moses. Tonight, she is in jail for what happened here at the apartment complex. But family members tell me this aunt's arrest just adds to their pain. Pain.
I love my kids.
Inside a mother's heart.
And they was good kids.
Kiami Moses is almost lost for words. On Monday, her daughters Nyla and Noni died in the fire. Today,
my sister.
More shock.
I took my sister to jail.
This is a mother mourning her girls. Noni, the 4-year-old.
You always catch Noni singing.
Nyla, just 18 months old.
Nyla loved to dance.
Kiami raised the girls with her sister, Mashea.
Because my sister loved my kids. She wouldn't do nothing to hurt my kids.
But now Mashea is the same sister under arrest for child neglect.
It made me feel worse than I already feel.
Mashea and Kiami's mother calls the whole situation a nightmare.
Both of my daughters are hurting. I'm hurting. We all hurting.
The little girl's grandmother, Chrysandria, tells us Mashea was watching the girls. She took a diaper to the dumpster, and that's when the fire started.
She loved these babies.
The entire family calls it an accident.
We all love these babies dearly.
But now they grieve, and they hope
Tell my sister I love her.
Another one of their own isn't taken away for good.
It ain't my sister's fault.
Mashea remains in jail tonight. She's being held on a $100,000 bond. Live in South Tulsa, Dan Perlman, 2 News Works for You.
Thank you, Dan. Now, investigators say there was a smoke detector in the apartment, and it did have batteries, but they don't know if it went off. London Square doesn't have sprinklers in its units. A spokesperson says that's because it and other older complexes are required to have them. Tulsa's fire prevention code only requires sprinklers to be installed in apartments built after 2006.
Going in depth now, there is no law that addresses leaving children alone in Oklahoma. DHS says that infants and children younger than 6 should never be left alone. Responsible grade school children should be left alone for no more than 2 hours a day, and middle school children for up to 4 hours a day. Well, as this case continues to develop, you can count on 2 to bring you the latest information. Stay up to date anytime, anywhere on our mobile apps as well as on KJRH.com.
New tonight, a Mays County jailer finds himself on the other side of the law. Sheriff's deputies arrested 23-year-old Aaron Peters on a charge of rape by instrumentation. Investigators tell us an inmate at the Mays County Jail accused Peters of sexual misconduct. Peters works as a jailer. Detectives say after being questioned about the allegations, Peters admitted to the crime.
New video now of a robbery suspect caught on tape. Tulsa police tell us that the woman that's seen in this surveillance video used a robbery victim's credit card. Investigators said the victim was held up at gunpoint inside his home near 35th Street and Memorial. Anyone who recognizes this woman is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. That number is 918-596-COPS.
Tulsa police arrest a Tulsa public school teacher on suspicion of DUI. Officers stopped Kathy Bowen Sunday in Broken Arrow. Investigators say they found the Cooper Elementary 2nd grade teacher drunk behind the wheel. Police tell us Bowen's 2 children were also in the car and one wasn't buckled in. Prosecutors charged her with both DUI and child endangerment.
Well, right now, a police officer in a small town of Minko is recovering after being stabbed in the shoulder and back of the head. The officer responded to a home near Tuttle, Oklahoma, where the man was threatening to burn it down. Investigators say that the man stabbed the officer twice before the officer managed to shoot him in the leg. Police tell us that another officer sat on the suspect until other officers arrived.
Now, your Storm Shield weather first forecast.
And good evening, everyone. Some new information coming into the Weather Center tonight and some developments just out to our west. Clouds are starting to thicken up. Maybe overnight some thunderstorms. Right now, Viper 2 HD, all clear. I still think it's dry at midnight at 52 degrees, but at 3 a.m., right in the middle part of the night, maybe a thunderstorm popping up in some parts of the area. Temperature down to about 46 degrees. Winds will strengthen as we head toward daybreak tomorrow. 48 at that time. Tomorrow looks mainly dry, cloudy, and cool, but there's a really good chance of rain on Thursday. And what about Friday? We could see some wintry precipitation in Oklahoma, but where? We'll go over the details in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Brett. New at 10 o'clock. People living in South Tulsa demanding safer streets. They say the death of a toddler last week justifies their safety concerns.
2 News reporter Liz Bryant is live at 63rd and Peoria to show us why changes may not be coming as quickly as some had hoped for. Liz?
Russ and Karen, you're exactly right. These orange caution cones right now are the only thing warning people crossing 63rd and Peoria of its dangers. 11/11/13 is the day Marshall Corey died right here at this intersection. It was 5 days before his second birthday. Tonight, his mom remains in the hospital with brain damage.
Ain't nobody else paying attention to that, but, you know.
His walk home from McClure Elementary forces 8-year-old Cameron to pay attention. The sunset, the passing parade of headlights, his greatest enemy.
Yeah, always have to pay attention. Even the drivers, they do not pay attention.
Cameron, his dad and friend, wait minutes to cross 63rd and Peoria. Lanes where drivers are allowed to go 40 miles an hour. But just last Monday, 3 weren't.
Private schools getting out. Private schools getting out. It's backed up. Ain't nobody letting you across.
Now the city of Tulsa's lead traffic engineer waits for a police report before he considers any changes at this intersection. Kirk Kraft must know if speed, dark clothing, or choice of where to cross played a part in this fatal accident. Tonight, he made sure all overhead lights work on the stretch. Kraft says a flashing crosswalk may be a good option here. The only problem, he has no immediate money to make this happen. A crosswalk costs $10,000.
And so it's a challenge with an area like this where you have multiple places where people can cross. You're trying to funnel them to one area to cross. And even at a signalized intersection, if you watch pedestrians, a lot of them will cross away from the signal sometimes.
Believe it or not, this is the safest spot to cross.
As for Cameron and his dad, who cross here 4 times a day, they believe a wider road is actually the best option.
But no matter what kind of light system you put up, if they don't widen the street and put some sidewalks, then it's a waste of money.
And police expect to turn that fatal accident report in this week of Marshall Corey's. In the meantime, engineers may have an answer for safer crossing here at 63rd and Peoria in the next 2 months, but still no immediate funding. Live in South Tulsa, Liz Bryant, 2 News works for you.
All right, Liz, thanks. Just into the newsroom, the Okmulgee City Council tables a proposal to restore a historic hospital building. The hospital was built for African Americans back in the early 1920s, back when Okmulgee was a segregated community. But the hospital closed its doors in the 1950s and has been vacant for decades. The Okmulgee County Multicultural Heritage Association wants to turn that building into a business and history center.
What we're doing with this building today is changing a symbol of segregation into a symbol of community unity.
The council offered to pay 50%, but the group spearheading the effort wants the city to pay all of the estimated $1.1 million cost.
One of the more popular hair care products on the market today may be counterfeit. Coming up, we'll show you how to make sure the bottle you buy is the real thing.
And a 2 News health alert, why more people may need to take statins for heart health than ever before.
And we just told you about the chance for maybe some rain or thunder overnight. We're also talking about rain and cold air coming in for the second half of the week, and also a wintry mix in parts of the state of Oklahoma. We're back with the forecast. You're watching 2 News at 10.
One day in May, the day an EF5 tornado barreled through Moore, a day that brought the Oklahoma Standard to bear once again. Tomorrow on 2 News Today, an inspiring look at how far we've come exactly 6 months later. A day-long series of special reports across all 2 News platforms. Road to recovery 6 months later, starting at 5 a.m.
A consumer alert now on hair care products that could be counterfeit or tampered with.
Buy some from big retail stores and they may not be what you think, say experts at one well-known hair care company.
2 News problem solver Michelle Lowry explains what to watch out for.
Some women will spend more than $40,000 on their hair in their lifetimes, according to a survey. Whether that money is spent in the salon or store, you hope what you're getting is as advertised. We bought this Paul Mitchell shampoo from Target and assumed, like this shopper,
that it's the Paul Mitchell brand because it has the trademark on it and everything.
Paul Mitchell company reps say you just can't be sure.
It's either counterfeit, tampered with, or black market.
Robert Cromines is the global artistic director for John Paul Mitchell Systems, commonly called Paul Mitchell.
We don't sell to these outlets. We only sell to professional salons like mine and other salons around the world.
But we found Paul Mitchell products in Target, CVS, and Walgreens.
The fact of the matter is they're not buying directly from us.
Paul Mitchell says it has contracts with distributors that are only in the professional hair care industry. The distributors then sell the products to the salons. Somewhere in that chain, Paul Mitchell says a wholesaler gets involved and buys the product in what the company calls a backdoor deal. The product then ends up on shelves in retail stores.
That product could be old, it could be tampered with, it could be counterfeit, but the product is not going to be first quality.
Vicki Bresnahan is in charge of brand protection at the company. She says old products won't perform well. Counterfeit products could be dangerous. She points out a counterfeit case where the fake Paul Mitchell product had high levels of bacteria.
And could that product have gotten into someone's eyes or a cut or something like that? An infection could have occurred.
And while you might not be able to tell which one is guaranteed by the bottle, smell, or consistency, the company says there's usually one big difference, and it might surprise you.
It usually costs more in a drugstore or supermarket than it does in the professional salon.
Bresnahan said the products in the stores cost between 50 cents and $5 more. We did a quick check, comparing one salon with one retail store. Sure enough, the Paul Mitchell Color Protect Daily costs $21.89 at the salon and nearly $1 more at the store.
Because the product has to change hands so many times to get there, and everyone needs a cut.
They say the best way to protect your hair, health, and wallet is to buy from a certified salon. Michelle Lowry, 2 News works for you.
Michelle, thanks. Now, the retailers mentioned say they stand by the products that they sell, and you can find their full comments in the Problem Solver section of KJRH.com.
A health alert tonight involving changes in the way doctors manage your risk of heart attack and stroke. Instead of focusing on just your cholesterol number, the American Heart Association now recommends that doctors focus on overall heart and stroke risk and prescribe more patients statin drugs. In addition to people with heart disease, doctors will now advise anyone with extremely high LDL or bad cholesterol to take the medicine too. All middle-aged type 2 diabetics, as well as people 40 to 75 with a 10-year risk of heart or blood vessel problems. Cardiologists at the Oklahoma Heart Institute in Tulsa say the new guidelines target your risk of stroke and will dramatically expand the number of people taking statin drugs.
Tens of millions of people are now going to be affected, where we now know that many strokes, the majority of strokes, can be prevented by aggressively treating the risk factors, including not only high blood pressure, but also high cholesterol.
Dr. Leimbach is concerned that the new guidelines are more confusing and no longer focus on patients knowing their numbers.
Storm Shield weather, certified most accurate.
Good evening. At the top of the news and the first weather, we checked on the radar, Viper 2 HD. It was clear. Double Doppler 2 also all clear. But within the next 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, I expect a few showers to at least pop up. Maybe even a thunderstorm in the overnight hours. Might be gone, say, by about 6 a.m. Awesome time lapse here from our tower cam looking west. And as these mid-level clouds that were associated with the disturbance in Arkansas thinned out and moved off to the east, look how the sun snuck underneath them and just a gorgeous sunset. A little reflection off the Arkansas River. We had just a little bit of a clear sky during the evening hours, but the clouds have moved back in and they're starting to thicken up. And as we head through the overnight hours, I expect that to continue. The temperatures might drop to about 46 in the middle of the night, especially if it rains, but then they'll start to rise after that. And when we wake up tomorrow morning, it's probably about 48 to about 50 degrees, thanks to south-southeast winds also strengthening by tomorrow morning. Right now, they're at 13 miles an hour. Muskogee currently at 51, Okima's at 53, Stillwater at 54, Ponca City 54 degrees. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'll talk about what Ponca City could see on Friday. They might not like that. Pryor 53 in Tahlequah right now at 51 degrees. All right, watch. It's a subtle little feature to look at, but you can see the clouds just kind of thickening up here between Tulsa and Oklahoma City. So this area might expand just a little bit more here in the next couple of hours, and we could see a couple showers and thunderstorms pop up with that. Meantime, there's another disturbance out here that will move overhead tomorrow. That's going to provide us with another cloudy day. And as a result, I lowered the high back into the upper 50s tomorrow. Just like today, it's probably cloudy. And like today, highs will be in the upper 50s. But let's break this down for you. 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, 48 degrees. Some rain showers are still possible. With the wind out of the south at 18 miles an hour, it might feel like it's in the lower 40s. Noontime tomorrow, just cloudy, 52, but gusty winds up to 26 miles an hour. And then late in the afternoon, a high temperature about 58 and a cool breeze. Most areas should stay dry. There could be a spit or a sprinkle tomorrow afternoon, but the steadier, more impressive rain will not move in until Thursday, and you'll see that here on Futurecast. So here we go to 5 p.m. tomorrow. You can see just a couple sprinkles here and there, and through about the 8 o'clock hour, just a little sprinkle around Tulsa. But keep an eye down here right around the time banner, and watch this disturbance move right up Interstate 44. So Thursday morning, 7 a.m., we're looking at showers, a few thunderstorms, maybe a couple of heavy downpours. Then a cold front comes through, and the temperatures will drop on Friday behind that front. Thursday afternoon, though, we might still be close to 60 degrees when it's all said and done. I don't like this little feature out here in the west in the Panhandle. If that slides eastward, it's going to encounter some colder air here Friday as the temperatures drop into the middle 30s, and here's the result. Sleet from Oklahoma City westward and maybe as far east as Ponca City. I think that's as close as it gets to Tulsa. Tulsa, it should just be a cold rain. And when I say cold rain, the temperature might be 35 and raining. That's awfully close, so we'll keep an eye on that and see if anything changes for Friday. Forecast overnight, some rain possible, 46 degrees, maybe a rumble of thunder, but nothing severe, so you can rest easy. 45 Tahlequah, 46 Muskogee, 46 also in Tulsa. 58 tomorrow afternoon, cloudy, most of us staying dry and cool, but that wind, it'll make it feel a little cooler. We might see a 60-degree high in McAllister, Poto around 61 degrees for the high tomorrow. Then 60 on Thursday with an 80% chance of rain. 36 Friday afternoon after a morning high of 43. 50% chance for that cold rain on Friday. Weekend right now looks dry. Highs in the low 40s. And just a special shout out, thank you to the Tulsa Business Builders for having me out to their luncheon today to speak to them about the upcoming winter weather forecast.
Yeah, it's going to feel a lot more like winter coming up in a few days. All right, Brett, thanks. Well, the new Whole Foods near 91st Street in Yale is now open. The store opened its doors to customers early this morning. The Tulsa Regional Chamber expects it to bring nearly 180 jobs to the area. City leaders tell us that the store will help bring even more businesses to an already booming area. This Whole Foods is the second one to open in Tulsa. The first is near 41st and Peoria in Brookside.
Well, we had a big old basketball game tonight in Stillwater, and Marcus Smart answered the bell. Career night for OSU's All-American. You're going to want to see how he dominated Memphis next in sports. You're watching 2 News Works for You at 10.
New York City.
Now, 2 Works for You Sports, driven by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Well, for the first time since that stadium renovation, it is a sellout in Stillwater. OSU and Baylor battle for first place in the Big 12 Saturday. Today, all the tickets are gone. More than 60,200 spoken for. Going to be the biggest crowd ever at OSU. More on that big game in just a bit. And welcome into sports, everybody. Speaking of a big game, Marcus Smart didn't need a coming out party. The OSU sophomore already college basketball's only unanimous preseason All-American. But with 11th ranked Memphis in town, Smart did use the occasion to launch a National Player of the Year campaign. To Gallagher-Ivo we go, said Kevin Durant tonight. Marcus Smart is really, really good. True story. On fire from the very start. The three-pointer goes, and he's fouled, so that's a 4-point play. Moments later, it's Smart, so good on defense, forcing the turnover up ahead. We've got a two-handed punch. 12 straight points for Smart, Cowboys by 7, but wait, there's more. Smart says he's more confident in that three-point shot. Showed it tonight. Back-to-back-to-back haymakers in the game's first 11 minutes. He outscored Memphis all by himself, 24-20. Cowboys by 18 at the break, and there's your cherry on top. The alley-oop. Like a boss. What a night. Career high 39 for Smart, best player in America, people. OSU thumps Memphis 101-80.
What did you learn about your group, and what do you think your group taught him about how good you can be?
I'll probably say I learned that from my team that, we still remember what happened to us last year against Oregon in the NCAA tournament. It's still in the back of our minds, and we're hungry, and but we're humble at the same time. But we want to come out here every game and let everybody know that we're not backing down.
Enjoy what you're watching, people. That kid is special. Well, we've got another big matchup tomorrow night right here in Tulsa. Wichita State Final Four team coming to the Reynolds Center. Danny Manning's guys still looking for their first win of the year and relishing the big opportunity.
They better be real excited. I think they are. I think they're looking forward to it. I think whenever you get a chance to play a team like this on our home court, we don't get that opportunity too many times because it's hard for those. It's hard to schedule those games. It's probably the best way to put it. And whenever we get an opportunity, we're definitely excited about it.
Tip-off from the Reynolds Center will be 7 o'clock. Been a tough year for Tulsa football. At 2-8, a bowl game is no longer a possibility. Nevertheless, this Golden Hurricanes senior class has accomplished much. 31 wins, including a defeat of Notre Dame and a Conference USA title last year. They deserve to finish strong.
The biggest motivation I have is the commitment level that we've gotten from the seniors that were here. And I just want them to go out on top.
First and foremost, it's important for these seniors. It's important to get these 2 wins for the seniors, get them out on a right note.
Up next, another team that's had a disappointing year, Louisiana Tech. Bulldogs just 4-6. The kickoff from Ruston, Louisiana is 6 o'clock Saturday. More sports on deck. We're talking OSU Baylor next. In college football history, no offense has scored more points in a season than these guys did. The 08 Oklahoma Sooners, old slinging Sam Bradford, 716 points, but that record, my friends, is in jeopardy. Threatening to break the Sooners scoring mark, this year's Baylor Bears. An offense Mike Gundy referred to this week as, quote, the ultimate test. Through 9 games, Baylor averaging 61 points per game, 685 yards as well. Both would set new NCAA records. That said, these Bears have been much better at home than they are on the road. Only 2 true road games, and their last couple trips to Stillwater have not gone well. Art Briles knows this week's game, his team's biggest test.
We got to play real clean, and we got to be real sharp, with our focus. And I think we're going in there as a more mature football team than what we have in the past any other time we've gone in there as a program.
I want to go into Stillwater and knowing this is going to be a hostile environment, I want to make sure that I have all my T's crossed and all my I's dotted, so that way I've done everything I can to make this team successful on my end.
Cannot wait for this one. Kickoff 7 o'clock. Well, believe it or not, it's the first matchup of 2 top 10 teams there in Stillwater since '84. Meanwhile, professional indoor soccer is back here in Tulsa. First ever home game for the Tulsa Revolution is Friday. The expansion team in the Premier Arena Soccer League, led by Tulsa native Michael Ncien.
It's coming full circle. I went to Booker T. Washington, played there, went to University of Dayton, and then I had a long period of playing, which took me to LA and Portland. And once I settled, I knew I wanted to be a professional coach. I didn't know it would happen here, and I'm thankful for that.
Friday, 7 o'clock at the Cox Convention Center downtown. That is your Oklahoma Ford Sports Report. Back with more after this.
Brett, tell us about the changes coming.
Well, tomorrow, cloudy, not much of a chance of rain, maybe just a little bit overnight, but 58 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday, 80% chance of rain, and then look at that, 43 in the morning Friday, 36 by Friday afternoon. My hope is that we don't get any kind of frozen precipitation. We'll keep an eye on it.
Ooh, that would not be good. We don't want that. All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.